This is the information I wish I knew when I started my watch collecting journey. Welcome to About Effing Time. My name is Andrew McCutcheon, and you, my good friend, are...
I don't know. Hi, I'm George.
And I'm Adrian.
We haven't done that in a while, have we?
No, that was kind of an old school way of doing it. Okay,
old school
fine.
Timing, clueless.
Yep.
I just think.
We need to be awkward, talk over each other. I think we still do that, actually.
Yeah, you're great at that.
We are the world's, I think we called ourselves the greatest podcast in the Mariana Trench.
Oh, we're doing that one now. Okay.
Literally,
you're bringing back everything. This is about the viewer.
Okay.
This is about subscriptions. This is about you guys.
It's true.
And it's not about the podcast and the other things.
This is my first hosted episode of season 4, whatever this is, as you can tell. But I wanted to ask you gents a question before we get too deeply into the show. Have you ever pondered a time machine?
Oh, yeah, I'd love a time machine.
What would you do with a time machine?
Just all the regrets. Just go back and change. Yeah, just do it. Like you know, on a computer, you got Control Z, and you can just undo it. Like, just time machine. Just go back. Job done.
George, time machine?
Yeah, yes, but not in your way. I have no regrets of the past because it's taken me to this point right now.
Yes.
So for me, that's my thing is.
So if you'd have unkissed that girl in year 7, that you
think about
kissing, maybe we wouldn't be.
No, but you think about the children. You think about, I've been doing something, and it's all about sliding door moments. You know, the points where you would go through this one or that one, and I don't think so. But could you give yourself advice? That may be the way of doing a time machine.
George, you've stolen the thunder. So this is the community season, and that's because we have leaned, I would say, quite heavily on you, our community, for themes, topics, ideas for this season. And one of the best ideas that has come to us was on Instagram, where a person whose handle I don't have right in front of me did say, "Gentlemen, I grant you a time machine to go back in time to give the younger version of yourself advice on watch collecting."
Firstly, I love that they think you're a gentleman, but that's
they didn't say that. I paraphrased.
Okay.
They said dudes, or it probably was just a hard start. Just what would you? Anyway, I added the gentleman.
Do we need to?
So it's about effing time that we jumped in our time machine
and did a wrist check.
And did a wrist. No. I'll get the wrist check. We'll start. Come on. By the way, there is a little rust on the old time machine in general, as you can tell. Charmingly so. I don't know. I think my favourite episodes have been one where I watch and go, these clowns they just have no idea. So
I love that we entertain him only.
I like to recreate that as much as I can.
No, we're here to entertain you.
It is.
And that's the thing, is that's...
It's about effing time we gave ourselves, our younger selves, some advice. And it also, as you said, Adrian, it's about effing time. I found out what's on your wrist. I could kind of say, show the people.
So I'm wearing a watch I hardly wear now. This is my Kermit, the 16610 LV from 2008, I want to say. Yeah, 2008.
Why don't you wear it anymore?
Aluminium bezel?
Aluminium bezel. This is the 50th anniversary Submariner. Quite a fun watch.
I love this. This for me is a cool watch.
It's slightly different. I like things that are slightly different. And people said, "Oh, it's a Rolex Submariner. Everyone's got a Rolex Submariner." Yeah, but not a green one, and not the original green one.
You told a really good story about this bezel insert on our paid podcast channel, which is a great tick in the box of the thing we've got to mention this episode, because we do have a closed channel, which is a bit more like it's sort of a behind the scenes of this. It's us without any filters. It's like we don't even really plan what those shows are, but they go some deep places. Yeah. And in one of them, you went into detail about the bezel insert.
Yeah. So when I first got this watch, I got this watch probably 8 years ago now. Can't remember. Oh, well, ago. And I read on a forum somewhere that the bezel insert cost 300 quid, and I just thought that's absolutely ridiculous because it's just a piece of aluminium with paint on it.
You got a little.
And it's my daily watch. It was my daily watch at the time. And I thought, I'm not going to pay 300 quid for a replacement bezel insert. That's just going to scratch and fade over time. So I thought, I'll just put an aftermarket one in. I don't care. It's just a Submariner. And so I just popped the bezel off, pop the bezel insert out and put an aftermarket one. There are people on the forum who, I can't believe he's done this. He's put a fake thing. It's like,
and that's exactly how they would have typed
watch.
it.
I can do exactly what the hell I want with it, and it's a bit of fun. It's fun playing with your watch. But yeah, and then I since learned that it's not 300 quid, it's 30 quid. Yeah. So I put the original back and fucked it straight away because you can see it's all scratched up. But yeah, that's my comment.
I've got the Breitling Top Timer Dukes. Oh, you've just moved it on me. Deus Ex Machina, and I'm going to say that totally wrong. This is
Australian brand.
A watch that I really loved. That when Breitling, bollocks. That's. I really loved. George Kern came out with this watch, and I begged to get this watch. I love when you're talking about the advice as a younger me. I think that this is one of my past things. Was Breitling actually did, it's part of my past. So this is where I love this with
Your
the lightning hand.
watch, as you can see in season 1 of Bad Effing Time.
Exactly, and it's limited edition, and it's kind of
cool.
one of the things of modern watches that I love.
Okay.
What do you got on?
I've got on, actually, Marcus, let me make a jinxing noise. Ding.
Ooh.
Hi there.
Can I get my wrist?
Yeah, get
that's
yours
what
in.
you've got on.
Yeah.
Mystery wrist.
Wristry mist. So we have the Bezel Sydney Diver Sand model on the wrist, which actually does come with a black tropical NATO, a black tropical rubber, and a sort of a beige elastic NATO, which is like an MN strap. I bought this for Marcus to thank him for being the hardest working mofo on the planet at a watch fair. And tell me about it, Marcus. Are you mic'd? You're not mic'd, are you?
No, I'm not mic'd. I could be Thing from
you just do some sign language.
Well, basically, one day Andrew came to me and he said, "You are going to have to work really, really hard." No. Would it be weird if we touch hands?
It would be. It would be weird.
That'd be a great thumbnail.
But not the first
weird.
time.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Can
on camera.
I just say one thing?
Sure.
He wears it better than you do.
Why is that?
He just wears it a lot better than you do. I'm like, his wrist looks better with that. Even the black strap looks better than what you've got.
He's better looking as well.
There's no need to have a winner. There was
no
no need to have a winner.
He's a nicer guy.
Anyway,
Can you just say you're the winner?
Let's put up a question sticker. I want to actually resolve this in the comments. I reckon I might have a few people that vote for me, maybe one or two.
It looks really cool.
But it's a cool watch, and Bezel have been playing around the fringes. Australian micro brand. They include in the crown. There's actually some sand inside the crown, which see that it actually is like a little hourglass in the crown. You see that?
Fabulous!
Isn't that weird?
I didn't know that.
Truly.
That's awesome.
So Bezel, a nice little design, and,
really cool.
and it's from Australia, where you're from. You live in Amsterdam now.
Dude, I'm double impressed.
That's
by
a
this
cool
house.
thing, huh?
That's a
It's a really cool little Easter egg. It's matte black. It's in, what do you call it? An asymmetrical case.
It's cool.
It's got a gold, like a linen-y gold dial. It's got a sandwich dial actually with a full lume plate underneath the sandwich dial. It's like, I don't know, not very expensive. It's a great watch, and I love it.
It's cool. Yeah, nice.
So,
Shall we get the time machine?
Younger you.
Well, I don't want to start. The reason I sat here and took it off you is because I want to interview you guys. I want to put you both in the hot seat. This is such a great topic, and it's one that is no doubt going to get personal because if you visualize, like you said, you love the visual of literally sitting down with your younger self saying, Andrew, I hate to tell you this, but you are going to get into watches. And this is not going to be a passing phase, because it would be now, if I was talking to myself when I first started getting into watches, it would be, what, 20 years ago, 15 years, like a long time ago. Please, no age jokes. I can see one brewing. But if I did sit down with myself, I guess I'd be pretty candid, because, it's me and me. But Adrian, let me start with you. We'll set the scene.
Life.
This is your life. Yeah,
life.
exactly. Have you given this some thought?
So, yes. And I originally came up with a list of tips and tricks on how to identify a watch that you truly want, or the best way to go about buying a watch. But I think it just overall just comes down to take your time. and I have a feeling social media is really bad for this.
Yes.
Is wanting, you keep seeing what other people have, and you think, oh, that's cool. I should get that, and I could get that if I sell X, Y, Z. And that's where I've always gone wrong. I've sold watches that I really shouldn't have sold, and I massively regret it. My first watch, my first big purchase was a Rolex Explorer 2 from the year 2000. And I sold it because I wanted to get this, actually. And I couldn't justify owning 2 Rolexes. I thought, who am I to have 2 Rolexes? This is ridiculous. I should just have one. And so I sold that and bought this. And at no point have I felt a bond with this Submariner that I had with my Explorer 2.
So if you're boiling that down into advice, what is the advice? Don't fall for what appears to be an upgrade.
This is it. That's exactly it. You don't have to go up. So my advice is you don't have to have a new watch, and you don't have to go up.
That's good.
And in whatever way you see going up. I have my daily wear is a Rolex Explorer 1. And I've got watches.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, but what?
Me either. That's a shocking revelation.
But I've got, if you're to put my watches in a hierarchy, that's probably my lowest ranking watch, but it's the one that I wear the most. And so my advice to myself would be, you don't have to have a new watch. You don't have to go up. Take your time. And the 2 watches that I massively regret selling because of this impatience of getting the next watch, that next hit of horological goodness, was my Explorer 2 and a Seamaster.
And that is what social media makes you crave.
Yeah.
The hit of novelty. We've talked about this before, but I feel like you almost feel an obligation to give your social media followers something new to look at.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely, and I feel like there's this constant pressure that you need to have a watch of this tier within the hierarchy, and you don't. You're not a true watch enthusiast unless you have a Patek. No, you can have a whole collection of G-Shocks, but know far more about Patek than any Patek owner. It's just knowledge. It's not. You don't have to own it to gain that knowledge.
Or you can buy a Breguet for infinitely less than a Patek, and that is truly a stamp of horological knowledge and horological integrity and sort of authenticity. So it's, but you're absolutely right.
You don't have
just
to have this
perception, the optics on which brand is above which. There's a feeling sometimes. I don't know if you can relate to this at all, George. That you're climbing a ladder, and that is the best bit of advice, that this ladder does not really even exist.
And this is something I've figured out recently. I've really hankered for a Vacheron Constantin 1921.
Yeah.
And it's got to the point where
I love that.
I've very nearly done it.
Adrian too.
But I don't need a £20,000 watch. There's so many other things that I'd like to hire a PA. That would impact my life so much more than having a £20,000 watch. Even if I hired a PA, part-time PA, that would improve my life significantly. A Vacheron Constantin 1921.
You're being far too pragmatic, Adrian.
No, but it's true.
This is a channel for watch addicts.
But this is my whole point: is that just take your time, enjoy what you have, and don't. It's tricky to say, but don't give in to these external influences of you need X, Y, Z. You need to go up in one certain position.
Bloody hell! Wow. I feel like just saying, I'm out.
And that's why I wear an Explorer every day.
Best bit of advice. That is bloody brilliant, Adrian.
I love that your piece of paper's...
Actually, all my notes are on there. I'm going to need them. But I don't think my advice is as good as yours to your younger self.
Well, go a war on drugs.
Do you want to just pull a piece of paper?
What's your favourite band? Speaking of war on drugs. If you had to name one band, like what band T-shirt do you wear the most? Do you have one?
What band T-shirt? No, I've been wearing Guns N' Roses recently.
Okay.
And I went to see them live, and they did not disappoint.
Oh, really?
And I took my kids to it, and I was just like, this is so fucking cool. Because it was just like, so my son, my daughter, and I just rocked out. My wife just looked on in horror, but it was it's like we were just there screaming and kind of doing, and so Probably
Guns N' Roses.
80s bands. What about you?
Are you a bit like me, just bored of wearing plain white t-shirts all the time? Well, check this out. That's pretty cool, right? About effing time. What about this one? Army green. About effing time. This is my favorite one. Captain Boring. You got to get to Captain Boring. Now, what about this? Marcus, I'm a dinosaur now. Just clap again. Marcus.
Well, I'm wearing War on Drugs. Like, that's my answer for today. I love this band. And I get so many comments on this band because anyone that's into War on Drugs immediately goes, oh, you also know them. They're bigger now than they were, but Daz, our audio engineer, before was like, War on Drugs. So they're still in that sort of small enough group to make you feel like it's a bit like certain watches. When you see someone else wearing that Deus Ex Machina watch, you're definitely going to say something.
Immediate connection.
Whereas it's not like that with that. And it's certainly like that with this, as we proved with Marcus. Like, what tribe?
But you're
Tribe
right.
Kermit.
That's why I like these limited editions. It used to be, well, it still is. If someone has a Bamford watch, it became, people go, oh, I bumped into someone at this and, we're now best friends because of a Bamford watch. Now that for me is cool and they send me these messages and I'm like going, you're fucking cool because you've you've said, okay, this is how it is. The same with what you've said about this or you're building a little community. What's your favorite band?
Well, what t-shirt?
Band t-shirt.
Well, I'm in my mid-30s, so I don't wear band t-shirts anymore. But when I did wear band t-shirts, No Effects was probably my last.
Wow, bratty punk. Somewhat surprises me. They're not that boring.
Well, No Effects?
Not really.
No, they're fucking awesome.
Have you got a grey t-shirt in it?
I actually had a black t-shirt.
Does this come in grey, please?
He doesn't wear band t-shirts, he just wears bland t-shirts.
I'll pay it.
Boom.
I'll pay that. I've got to find my notes now after that dramatic hissy fit I had with myself for not coming up with as good. That is fucking brilliant advice, Adrian. And
Thanks,
I feel, honestly, it's really touched me because I have admitted on another podcast that what I like about watches is that there's this sense of material achievement and material sort of momentum and progress up a ladder. And I realized only about a year ago that was bullshit.
Yeah, it's all in your head.
And it was only last year that I learned that. So
yeah, well, yeah, and this is the same for me. And one more other little bit of advice or things, something that I'd tell myself is wear what you want, but be socially aware of what it says. And what I mean by that is I bought myself a two-tone sub.
it's deep.
Because it was a big fuck you to life and education, and it was
Two-tone sub or two-tone GMT?
two-tone sub then and the GMT.
Was it a bluesy?
Oh no, it's a black dial. So it was a proper dirty watch. It was a proper fuck you.
Do you remember that? I don't remember him having that.
Yeah, I kept it quiet. I think it's the first time I've said this.
We did not know this.
Yeah.
So this was a watch that I was
love
talking
that he said
about.
it was a proper dirty watch.
But I bought it as an arrogant.
I've made it.
Yeah. It was just fuck it. It's just a bit of fun.
watch. This was the episode
This was
everyone
the
loves.
FU watch.
People come up to me on the street and go, "I love the one where Adrian cried." I'm like, I cried. That didn't leave an impression.
So the GMT was the more sensible version of that. So my FU watch was a two-tone sub.
How is the root beer more sensible?
Because it's more toned down.
Sorry, but how?
I love the logic.
I'm like, no, this is more
Obviously.
sensible than this. Oh, yeah.
So I bought it because of a chip in my shoulder that I've got. But I was sitting in the barber's getting my hair cut. I was just sat there in the barber's stool, whatever they call it, chair. I was looking at my wrist. I thought, fuck, that's a sexy watch. I thought, what is this saying? Just because I have a little bit of angst in me.
Now I'm projecting this message to the
Now
world.
I'm projecting this fuck you mentality to whom? To everyone around me. And this nice barber chap who's cutting my hair, I'm not saying fuck you to you. I'm saying fuck you to
So are you saying all two-tone watches say fuck you to the world?
Not all of them, but all I'm saying is just be socially aware of what your watch is saying. For example, I used to work in HR, and the amount of times I'd take this off when people would come to me and want to talk about pay reviews and stuff. I mean, they were probably on a higher pay bracket than I was. But the idea of sitting in a meeting when you've got a
Sorry, we don't have any money.
and you've got a £10,000 watch on your wrist.
But this is the Prime Minister syndrome. Prime Ministers and presidents, when they get to the
Yes,
top job,
yes.
they start wearing an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
We had a Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, who has vintage Pateks and beautiful watches, suddenly was wearing a smartwatch, an Apple Watch, to work only. And you know, you've got your Berlusconis and your the European presidents. As soon as they get to the top job, they're just like the most baller watches ever. It's a whole different culture of it. Good point.
And I was first made aware of this idea when I used to work for a company, and the CEO came up to me and asked me to help him sell his Pepsi GMT, beautiful vintage Pepsi GMT. I was like, why the hell are you selling it? It's like, I just don't like what it says. I'm like, what do you mean? It's a stunning watch. But I was looking at it from a watch enthusiast point of view, as opposed to CEO walking around with a bright.
It's the same with cars or anything like that.
Yes,
There's certain cars that will give you, you know, you are looking at this kind of, you're driving higher than everyone else. And then there's other cars that are, and it's, I would say to you, is why I love something like a Defender. And I'm not promoting a Defender, but I love Defenders, is because they can go to a premiere of a movie, they can go to a building site, they can do everything, and you don't, you know, they can be security, they can be whatever you want, and that's what a Defender sits on. And I would say on some things, on watches, exactly the same. There's certain watches, like G-Shock.
Yes.
Why
yes,
I
yes.
wear my G-Shock. Not to go to but I put a watch on for me. Every time any watch I put it on for me. I don't put it on to show off to you. I don't, you know, the weird and wonderfuls make me smile, because that's where, but the same with a car. When you look at a car, you know, is there a hierarchy? Is there, you know, I'm the best car on the road. Well, does it make you smile? Does it make you smile?
Can I please have you both agree, though, that the Defender is the biggest cliche of cars in the watch world? You know, if you don't have a vintage Defender, are you really a watch journalist?
I thought it was Porsche.
I hate vintage Defenders. I'm just so sick of it. No, well, Porsches are another cliche, but there's like two cars that are acceptable for. You do too. I saw on your Instagram.
Do.
Can we agree that
And I
that's,
shoot
that's
with like
just
a too.
like a Defender and a Porsche are like a Submariner and a Nautilus of the car
it's
world.
just because they're just
I'm just being
sexy.
devil's advocate. I do
Defenders
not
are
resonate
so
with me
cool.
at all.
Speedmaster Submariner. Boring as shit, sexy as hell.
Oh, I know,
They
because
sit
you're
in
tall
both
and
camps.
you kind of, okay.
I can't fit. No, well, I've got a Discovery. I've got a boring old Discovery petrol, like V8. So, I mean, I do have a Land Rover, but I feel this immense pressure. Everything is right about this car except the fact that it's not a Defender.
Yeah, but Defenders
Because
are horrendous to drive.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want
But
one.
I love them.
They're
On
tractors.
any level. Moving it on.
Move on.
I want to ask you a question on that note, though, because, George, you have the most spectacular high-end collection, and yet I can't remember having ever seen you wear one of those watches. Adrian, have you ever thought to yourself, George just doesn't, I would say it's one of the things that I find most, it enamors me very much to you, is that you genuinely don't ever flex like that, and yet you could flex more than just about anyone we know.
I think a lot of people misunderstand that situation about George as well, is that, I haven't
But
actually
we know.
made that connection.
I've
but
never
you're
seen you
absolutely
wear a
right.
Nautilus, and he's got
or
multiple versions.
Anything ridiculous. It's always
Even anything excessively
Enthusiasts.
expensive. Like, why, George? And don't go a changing.
No, because it makes me smile. I put watches that make me smile. I don't want to have something that I feel like, Christ. The other things, I want a watch that I put on my wrist and I go, I just love it. And that's the thing is, I look at watches and I look at what watches do, and I've seen so many people that have flexed this or that, and why? You know, I don't want to, show off to someone. I really don't. I want to kind of, if someone comes and talks to me, like if we're doing a About Effing Time live, come and chat. And I'll tell you about the design of that watch. I will tell you about the story of this watch, or why I got it, or what's the reason. Because, like a Snowdrops or any of those things. I look at these watches and I go, this is so freaking cool. So why would I wear something that everyone else is wearing? to be the flex, to be the person that says, hey, I'm this. I want to have something where it's a conversation, and it's a conversation that you like it or you don't like it. I would love that reaction. That's what a reaction is. If I go to you and say, like, that's why I like that sub, because I don't see it much.
Yeah.
Why
Because it's in safes now.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, it's also, you want to wear something that makes you, I look at, like, driving, you've talked about a Land Rover. I love driving a Land Rover. Everyone says it's a dreadful car to drive. There's a car that I drive, my old vintage Land Rover like this, and I've got Bruce Springsteen on. And I wasn't into Bruce Springsteen, but I play it in this car, and it just connects. And I'm just like, and I am giggling, I'm smiling, and I'm driving it for me, I'm wearing it for me, and I'm not wearing it. And that's the thing, you talk about the advice to a younger you. It's almost the same type of advice.
Let's go to you, George.
But it is that thing of don't feel like you have to prove anything.
Yeah.
Don't feel like it's what I keep on saying. Look at vintage in a weird and wonderful way. Look at modern in a weird and wonderful way. Connect with something that's you. It may be a flick flack. It may be a swatch. It may be a G-Shock. It may be whatever. I've got a friend that collects swatches, and he is obsessed with swatches. Got wonderful collection. I mean, huge collection of swatches. But it is one of those things. He loves swatches. It's him. And and he wears a jelly most of the time, and it's like, this is so cool. And then he brought out a pop watch recently, and that's where I'm like, go down these rabbit holes. You're talking about what advice I would say is, I look at nothing in the past and go, God, I wish I'd done it differently. But there is one thing on the watch front.
Tell me.
Watch front is, I wish I'd spent more time when I was living in New York going to more flea markets and learning more about watches, because that gave me the stable that now I'm springboarding off now. The wool was pulled off my eyes when I started working with Tag Heuer and everything like that, to the multiple watch world. And I was, it's like, born again type scenario, but it was the born again. And that was one of those things that, you said about something that is generic. You're now looking at other watches. That's the great thing. Yeah. The world is so broad that we want to have our own opinion. Yeah. We want to have, you think of T-shirts, you think of bands, you think of music, you think of whatever is around us. We don't want to be pigeonholed. And what's happening is watch brands are trying to pigeonhole us. Even car brands are trying to pigeonhole. You think about collaborations between car brands and watches. It's saying, you drive this car, you have this watch. Well, no.
Yeah.
And let me make another association to wrap up that part, because it's been beautifully symmetrical here, is that when you start getting into watches, and I'm going to have the conversation from our perspective. We are in the watch industry. We are in the watch world. It is our life, as you said beautifully in the first part of episode 1. And maybe there is a bit of, and even if I'm looking at you watching the screen right now, maybe you go to Red Bar Crew, maybe you go to get-togethers, and the longer you're in the hobby, the longer the time spent in the hobby, there's an expectation that you're going to go somehow like this in terms of value and brand cachet. That's the biggest mistake. Yes. And I have fallen foul of that, because I'm like, well, this is my life now. You have. You started here and you've gone. But that's why everyone loves you, and that's why I think our show has been successful. Because if we had just sat here and kicked around Trinity watches for
exactly.
We brought in BYOIs. We've made the hobby accessible just through. That's where we've landed, being passionate. But I still, until as recently as a year ago, felt the pressure as a watch professional expert. Like Adrian, you as someone, you must have felt pressure to have an AP by now or something.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%.
What
and
nonsense.
AP and Vacheron, and because it's quite obviously a sign of success to be able to afford something, but more the greater pressure I feel is as a token to say, oh no, I am a watch enthusiast because I've got this.
Yes. It's some sort of stamp that you're here on the journey.
Which is absolutely moronic. The idea that you have to have a certain level of cash to be a watch enthusiast.
Or somehow there's got
blows
to
my
be
mind.
some sort of a Pokemon thing, where as you collect them, you
Catch
get
'em all.
rewarded.
Yeah,
Catch them
yeah.
all. But again, and I say you can short circuit this whole thing. If you bought a Breguet Tradition, solid gold models going for 12, 13,000 pounds or less, 9, 10,000 pounds sometimes. This actually trumps AP and a lot of AP and Vacheron and Patek anyway, because we're talking about the greatest ever living
But you
watchmaker.
still don't need to do it.
No, you don't even need to do that.
it. Yeah.
So, but you certainly don't need to fall into this. Everything is more expensive and everything is more famous. And I think, God, that's good advice.
That's what pisses me off when people say, "Oh, choose is just a poor man's Rolex." No,
yeah, I actually choose this.
Why the shit do you have to have a Rolex?
Should we go into the wind up now? Because you've gone into he's winding up. Let's wind him up. I'm going to wind him up on his back.
I've got a bigger one to do. That drives me nuts.
Simon, you tell me that I don't need a winder, I need a wolf. It's written everywhere. It's a very catchy campaign.
Yes.
That's a big call. What do you mean by that?
Well, we are the best. You have to think you're the best, don't you?
Yeah. No, we
So
are
we
the
start
best.
with that. We feel
We're
that.
the best watch. We're the biggest watch podcast
Are you?
in the Mariana Trench.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll swim alongside you down there then, sir. Anyway, the idea of building a watchwinder that does what it should do was what I started with 25 years ago. So there were watchwinders out there, but they weren't intelligent. That meant having a computer chip inside, tick that box. It counts turns per day, tick that box. Can start and stop where you want it to. Has a dynamic cuff, which we haven't looked at yet, which means any size band, metal, strap, whatever, will go on the dynamic cuff.
That's more
You
than
don't need a
winder.
watchwinder.
Yeah.
You need a wolf.
We need a wolf in our lives. You need this winder. We have this winder available. Later, but I'm going to take it in a different direction, and I feel woefully inadequate in this moment because, Jesus, you guys have brought some knowledge, and I've watched that conversation happen, and I thought, God, could you then come and talk to the younger me? And could you too say, Andrew, go to more flea markets? Because through that, you can access watches for money that you probably have in your pocket that you're just never going to discover.
But you think eBay, Chrono, Bezel, anyone out there is some amazing
It's not
platform.
the same.
No,
It's not
but
same as
the
a
flea markets are going. This is what
The volume of watches
When
you
I was
see.
in New York, this was like you went on a voyage of discovery.
Yeah.
Every time you went to a flea
yeah.
market, you got the feel of these things. Now it's the internet because for me, I'm now, I can put out a question, I get the information, and I can go, okay, this is, I'm going on a mad, crazy, this is my route I'm going on. That's what's changed. The world has changed. When I was growing up, it was,
yes and no.
there wasn't the internet. There wasn't that.
No, there wasn't, but there are still flea markets. And my children came up to me and said, "Oh, Daddy, we went to the Chiswick market, which is around the corner from our house in London." And they said, "We found this box with all these the guts of watches." I said, "What do you mean the guts of watches?" They said, "The broken bits." I said, "What are you talking about, the broken bits?" And I said, "Well, show me a picture." And they said, "Well, the bits with all the things." And I'm like, and they found a box of movements. And they'd taken all these blurry pictures, and there was like a Le Coultre movement in there. And I was like, this was like £5 each. So there's still, and my kids felt the magic of the flea market. So that's fucking brilliant, George.
That's cool. Yeah, so that's the challenge with the flea markets now is that there's so much knowledge out there, easily accessible, that so many people are hunting for that
and
thing.
every flea market seller is
Grail,
Googling Le Mans. Oh my God.
Exactly. Chrono 24.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
Do you know, CYMA. What is that? CYMA watch. Oh my God.
I can tell you a little story. There's a friend of mine, and he was in America at some of these state sales. There's a house that gets sold, and they're selling this clock. And anyway, it turned out it was a Cartier mystery clock, and the guy made an absolute fortune, bought it for nothing. Now, why I'm saying is that sometimes there is, and this only happened, I think it was last year, and it sold for an absolute fortune, but only once every blue moon. But you should not get into watches to make money.
Yeah, that's a different topic. Different topic. So I've taken this in a very different direction. So I'm sitting down with my younger self. And my younger self is a little bit upset. And my younger self has just been trolled on Instagram. Let's just say it's
Are you doing it to
15
modern
years
days?
ago. Well, look, let's just say there's been some. It might have been on Facebook, shall we say?
MySpace. Or Friends Reunited, or
RSVP,
a
which
small
is an
world.
Australian dating site.
Did they have internet when you were around?
Oh, stop! I knew that was going to happen. No, let's go back only say 12 years in my, because again, I wasn't into watches as a young person at all. Zero. I'm quite a latecomer to watches, actually. I became into watches when I became a watch journalist because it was opportunistic to specialise in journalism and not just be another guy duking it out for all the same stories. So it's as recently as, let's say, 12 years ago. And my advice to my younger self would be, I wish I knew. And what I would say to my younger self is most people that are trolling you have paper-thin knowledge, if any knowledge at all. And yet, this keyboard warrior effect on social media, it used to just harpoon me. And I think that what I've learned as I watch now the comment section every day.
Never look at comments.
Well, that's good for you, George. I own a media company. It's a professional. It's a part of my job. And I have just learned to smell an authentic, knowledgeable commenter, and I don't smell that very often. When I'm in, and I wish I could tell my younger self, dude, they don't know nothing. They've learned a few phrases. They've learned how to say redial, or they've learned how to say Fugazi or Frankenstein or whatever, and it is just, or obviously fake. Like that, those two words, the impact that would have on me when I would post watches 10 years ago or 12 years ago and I just wish I could go back in time and say, dude.
Completely agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, someone who makes those flippant, off-the-hand comments either doesn't know what they're talking about or doesn't give a shit what they're talking about. They just want to spread BS.
Yeah.
Anyone who's a true watch enthusiast and genuinely has knowledge is more likely to share that knowledge with you.
Yes.
Because they want
like
you
Breitling
to
with
learn.
Your hands. Yeah.
And it's one of those things of someone who genuinely likes watches and wants to be part of the family versus someone who's just trying to flex.
Yeah. Or just trying to,
but
again, stir shit and
But
get
but that's what
engagement.
we talked about luxury. You know, you talk about the holy grail of watches versus actually some other watches. It's different communities. You look at some forums are dreadful.
Yeah,
They're
forums
toxic.
just as a whole.
but
It's a race to the bottom in some.
Forums are positive. And you think, and I'm talking about comments, and I know you were saying about comments that you read all the comments. What I would say is, I do read about effing time comments, but I don't read most comments when a post of mine a watch comes out or anything like that, because I've always been advised. I got advised by Ariel, I got advised by Ben. When we were starting out, never look at the comments. And I was like, why? And they always said, it's everyone just saying something that they can say, and that's the same with
there's
certain
a lot of
forums.
business out there. There's a lot of sad people who need to just get their shit in order.
Yeah. So look, that's one, and maybe the silver bullet is to not read the comments, but I don't know how practical that is. If you've commented, it's more about everyone is faking
my
it.
team do.
Everyone is faking it in this industry. And by the way, yeah, you actually have people on the payroll who read the comments for you. Just a little caveat. But no, everyone is faking it, and it's just sometimes good to console yourself with that. The other one...
Can I get on a comments thing? Just a real quick thing on comments. You can read the comments, but just don't listen to the BS. If anyone's just questioning what you do, what you've done, just think if some random person walked down the street and looked at your watch and just said, that's a redial, would you actually listen? No, you'd say, thanks very much. Just have a good day. And just fuck off. You're not going to listen to that crap. And this is the same thing that I do on YouTube. So it's like, oh, you know nothing about watches. Okay, that's like... Enjoy your day.
I think there was a good...
why don't you set up something and
But it's just...
Can't wait to hear your opinion.
Tom Holland recently quoted someone else.
Fantastic quote.
How good is that quote?
Fantastic
Do you
quote.
want to paraphrase it? I think I'm going to butcher it.
If you have a problem with me, call me. If you don't have my number, then you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me.
I love it.
How good was that?
But it's such a simple but obvious thing that everyone has to listen to.
And be careful who you actually listen to. And there should only be
And the trick is, don't give your number out to people.
Yeah.
Then no one can have a problem with you.
I love that. I've got one other little one, which is and I'm going to bring it up because it's the opposite of what you said. You said you wish you hadn't moved watches on, some of them. I have the opposite bit of advice for my younger self. I would say to my younger self, dude, be ruthless. I held on to watches for way too long out of a sense of obligation. And maybe it's because I'm in the industry and I felt that somehow moving a watch on would criticize the brand in some way. Like I love, speaking of quotes, one of my favorite quotes by Voltaire is, if you want to know who is your master, think of who you can't criticize. I love that quote. But I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, dude, be mercenary. If you're not wearing a watch, just move it. If you don't like a watch, don't wear it out of a sense of obligation. I would have made some moves earlier.
That's the position that I've got with this watch. Is I wear it because it's there and I feel bad for not wearing it. Which I just feel that is the point at which it needs
Maybe the older me can speak to the younger you.
Please.
Because I want the older you to speak to the younger me. We can make a deal. And I want your flea market comment. I'm sure you want that flea market comment
absolutely.
too.
No, I remember walking
George can
around
speak to both of us.
Burlington Arcade and Gray's Market.
Yeah,
like
they were
8, 9, 10 years ago.
I used to go there and, can I look at that? It was great.
And now it's different.
Can I bring a BYOI?
Please.
Sure.
Is that right?
And then I'm going to wind Adrian up. I'm looking forward to this.
What?
Oh, boy.
So
Okay.
I am going to talk about, for my BYOI, I'm going to talk about a brand that I absolutely love. I saw at GPHG. This is called Crayon, and I'm butchering their name, and none of us can say it right, I don't think.
How else could you say it?
But these are mesmerizing dials. Mesmerizing brand.
Kind of like a Van Gogh, isn't it?
And so, guys, that's amazing.
Gorgeous.
These dials are mesmerizing, and what they do is, and movements and everything. It's
George, break my heart. What's the damage on one of these bad guys? Because
no, it's a stupid amount of money.
Okay.
So don't worry.
Don't even dream.
No, but what we were talking about is flexing. This is
how I would imagine you, if you were going to drop a flex, it would be
this because it's unusual, because it's and this is understanding. I can't remember the price, but they're hundreds of thousands. But why I would say to you is, when you look at this watch, it is something, because we keep on going BYOI is at this price. Why not go for something that is really showing the world that something's different?
George, talk me through this dial, because this is this chapter ring here has different levels of light blue and dark blue. As far as I recall, I believe this is tracking daylight hours and evening hours.
Oh, yeah.
And we have the sun literally moving around this recessed ring according to the time of day. And I believe that this navy and light blue section
but it's a star, it's a light
according to night and day.
No, but it's also stars are in there. So for me, it's also just as a brand, I think it is one of those that if you don't know about, it's something to look at and mesmerize. It's like things like Anodyne and when you look at dials that these guys know.
I want to just jump into that.
And that's the thing is, I didn't know about this brand, and I think I know quite a lot, and this was a brand I didn't know about, and I picked it up and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And
would you break your price point rule for this?
No way, because I never would. But I was so pleased to have put one on my wrist and go and seeing in the light and appreciating what you think about how it was made, what it was made, the attention to detail. It's like when you see one of those Van Cleef music things, time that tell the time, and it just squawks and it does this and it does that and there's the bird bath, and you think about the engineering that's gone into it. This is the same. Or Tree Lope that I talked about before. That it's just something where I go, oh.
You've wound me up, George, thinking that there's yet another watch that I want to experience in my life. But Adrian, you're like a freaking volcano.
This is something I've wanted to get off my chest for so long. I feel like I've mentioned it a couple of times. But
this is the wind up, in case you're wondering.
This should be. It's not undone. It's not undone. But this is what watch brands need to undo and it's their website.
Gonna get all things away from you.
Not once have
My
I gone
gosh.
into a watch brand's website and thought, this is a nice
Great
website.
experience.
It's quick to find the information that I want. I can easily find images and specs. No, they have to do all this fucking whizzing about shit, scrolling where stuff just spins. No, stop it. It is moronic how difficult it is to use watch brands' websites. And I'm not talking from the point of being a boomer. I've worked in tech. I used to teach tech.
You're not a boomer, dude.
I can. No, I know.
Can you sign up here, please?
Do it. So no, please, watch brands, genuinely. I'm talking about Tudor, Rolex, Vacheron, IWC, literally every single watch brand. Stop what you're doing, log onto your website, look at it,
Be a customer.
delete it, and start again. Because but guys, it's shit, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
terrible. And
is.
I love it on our
we have
therapy
been like
sessions.
that.
It's amazing because you're just like, this website annoys me so much. Ah!
No matter what mood you're in, I know how to ruin it.
Yeah, can we go to the website now? And you're just like, oh no.
what drives me even more nuts is when watch brands make it so that you can't capture their images.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
I want to give you free publicity.
I'm trying
Why
to
are you making it difficult? Omega, give me access to your sodding press room. What am I going to do? I might say bad stuff. I appreciate that. But other watch brands, let me...
If you want to be as wound up as Adrian is right now, we can help you with that. This is our wolf winder. This winder counts turns. It keeps your baby precious and safe.
And it's sexy as hell.
And it's sexy as hell.
Honestly,
kind of
sexy.
like, did you find Adrian's kind of sexy when he's mad? Or is that just me?
I just think you two should get a room.
Okay. Anyway, that was. Whew. We need to end this episode.
I appreciate that, guys. Thanks
we
for
all need a
listening.
little lie down.
One thing I want to say is our podcast. We have a podcast. Please, the link is below. One of us. If you'd like to hear Adrian unfiltered like that, can you imagine? There is a place, and that place is our podcast.
Xanadu.
And it is it is one of those things. It is a private little community of you guys that have been listening to this podcast and subscribing to this podcast.
Yes.
And we want to say thank you
paywall.
so much.
Yeah.
Link is below, and you can hear us winding Adrian up.
Every week, every Monday morning.
Every Monday morning you can hear it, and it really does. It
timed
comes
it-
into my car at the moment, and I'm
Yes.
driving along going, this is awesome.
Yeah,
because
and we
it's us
timed it for
community.
Monday because it's usually a down
Yeah.
day. But then we come in and
We want to get rid of the Monday blues.
Adrian's fury can just make you feel better about whatever you're
And just so you know, I win every time.
He wins.
Oh yes.
Yes. And if you have to do a shot when you hear Tag Heuer, then you better stock your car up with booze because that commute
No,
could get.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry,
don't
don't say that. Thank you so much for listening. That was all three of us talking to our younger selves, giving advice that might have changed everything. And as you said, like a butterfly flapping its wings in the Brazilian rainforest, maybe we wouldn't be here if any of it had happened.
This is true, yeah.
So that's a deep thought to ponder on. It's almost like we finished with a wavy screen. We are going to see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching About Effing Time.
Thanks,
We're
guys.
out.